And we live with it. Yo, what's going on, family? For those of you who do not know me, right, my name is Caesar Vera, aka Caesar the God, as you can see with this backdrop in the back. And I'm so excited for today's Money Heist call because this is something special where we can go ahead and really get to learn with an individual who's been with us in the trenches, right? Not so much as someone who's, been out in the trenches for so long to, an incredible level, but really who has been learning with us, shoulder with shoulder, right? Really been learning the ropes and then looking to spread that knowledge and that sauce unto others. So real quick, before we get to our special guest, to our sniper for tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my boy, my brother, the man who I literally look up to as a serial entrepreneur. I'm so happy to go ahead and do these calls with yo, Kevo. What up, Brody?
Yeah, what's good? What's good? What's popping, bro? We estamos activo. We live from the Bitcoin penthouse right now. You feel me? We in the metaverse right now, but you can't even see the mic. It's actually hiding right here behind this thing. But nah, man, I'm excited to be here. I'm happy to be here. Yo, guys, actually go ahead and drop what city you're tuning in from. I'm always curious to see, how global this movement really is. So if you guys can drop where y'all are tuning in from, that would be awesome, man. We got people from Syracuse, New York. We got New York City. We got Chirac, London. My bruv, what's going on? AZ is live. Chicago, Nebraska, Washington. Yo, we going out tonight, bro. We global with Canada. Let's go, man. That's awesome. That's so sick to see. And no, we got a really, really incredible guest tonight. I'm really, really excited to introduce you guys to this individual, man. This is someone who, since the day that I met him, right, since day one, we had good energy, man. We just vibed. And he's someone who inspires me, man, because not only is he making gains on the markets, right? He just actually accomplished a really huge milestone. He's now a 6-figure funded trader, which is incredible, guys. Go ahead and, give him some love in the chat, blow up the chat for him, because that's incredible. Not only is he making gains in the markets, but he's also making gains outside, man, in the gym. He's someone who inspires me to go to the gym, bro, because the way that he's pushing like way out there is insane, man. He's a savage trainer as well, and just really helping people, with the health, fitness, and also trading. So, I want to go ahead and bring up my brother Eric, man. How are you doing, bro? Go ahead and spotlight it. Boom.
Hey, what's up, guys? Doing good. How you guys doing?
Feeling amazing. Feeling amazing. So, man, let's go ahead and dive right into it, bro. So, for those that don't really know you, go ahead and if you can introduce yourself a little bit and really just share like your journey with us, like kind of like where everything kind of started, the inception of trading, like how you kind of found out about trading and kind of like your whole journey through that. So go ahead, bro.
Absolutely. So, I went to school with Tim. We played soccer back in the day together at Trinity International University. And so Tim was the guy who actually first introduced me to IM Academy in 2017. And I was fresh out of college. I was working as like a janitor in this tennis club in like the North Shore area in Chicago. And at the time I was making like $12 an hour. And I remember that got the app, the Swipe Coin app and all. No, it wasn't Swipe Coin, it was Swipe Trades. I remember there was a sketchy, it wasn't this nice Go Live website, it was some sketchy like Zoom link. It was all like lime green and all that. But anyways, I do remember like sitting on those calls and just like learning about the markets, and markets and building wealth has always been something that had intrigued me. And there was one day where I took a trade and I made, it wasn't anything significant, but I made like $150, which was what I would have made in like 5 minutes, what I would have made the whole day working at that tennis club. And so that blew my mind with like how much like potential there is right now, an opportunity there is for everybody to access wealth on another level. But at that time though, I didn't have the level of self-belief. And after blowing a couple accounts, I ended up quitting during that time, knowing that I was going to come back, but I had to make cash first. I had to start to build my own engine. And so anyways, I ended up becoming a strength and conditioning coach at that tennis club, which then a couple years into that, they ended up letting me go for some very dumb reasons. They had a new director come in. There's some bull crap, but he came in, We didn't really get along too well, and he fired me over a speed ladder, which then I took my whole book of business with me, which I had the biggest book of business there with strength and conditioning, and started my own training business with Yami Games, which is mostly tennis players. And right when I started making cash flow, I should have jumped right back into the academy, and I did not. And this is what's crazy is for anybody on this call that might not be in the academy, not being in the academy probably cost me more than anything. Like if you saw what happened from 2017 to 2020, that's a lot of information, even with a little bit of money that you could have built, and I could have built a lot of wealth, a lot of money. And so I jumped back into the academy in 2021. I saw a lot of sketchy stuff going on in the world, and everything I was doing was kind of by myself. Like I turned my whole business in 2020 to a Zoom training business. So I was doing this, but like doing it with strength and conditioning. So like getting people to do push-ups, squats, all that stuff, like all day. And then in 2021, I was like, okay, I need to find another way to make money because this might not be sustainable. And everything was very uncertain. I was like, how do I do that? And I thought back, okay, Tim, all right, I'm Academy. Let's get back into this. And also, too, I invested a little bit into Bitcoin, not really knowing what I was doing. And I made like $4,000. I was like, crap, if I made that much not knowing what I was doing, I need to dive in and figure out like what's really going on. And so I really dove into the academy at first just to get into crypto, get into Web3, know how to invest the money I was already making from my business. And then I found that it's actually beneficial to start trading as well. And at first, it was I funded my account with my own money. I put like 5K in there, and I made that, or I put 1K in there, and I turned that into about 10K within a couple weeks. And then after that, I lost about a couple K. Then I made another 5 or 6K. And what I didn't realize I was doing is I wasn't trading. I was trying to make money, and I was over leveraging with no rules. And when Bitcoin was actually, it was, I think May 15th. I think I remember the date, May 15th, 2021. Bitcoin was around like 50 or 60K. And I put in a buy limit with no stop loss. And if you guys knew what happens, the thing crashed. And I was at a Starbucks trading. I was looking at my MetaTrader, and I watched 10K just go down the drain within seconds. I was like, fuck, that really, yeah. So that
I feel your pain, bro. I feel your
Mhm.
pain. Crypto is a whole nother beast, bro.
whole nother. And so, and that's the thing, it's like learning a new skill set, a very hard skill set. And during, and not even during, in a market that's very, very volatile, and that most traders are kind of afraid to even dive into, which is really cool. But yeah, and so anyways, I went through that summer, survived that micro bear market, went into the fall, and like that's when the crypto market started booming again. And again, like I threw some money into an account and started doing the same thing again. No rules, no risk management. I was using a stop loss. That was one rule I did have, but I wasn't spending the time to really learn how to trade. I was just trying to make money, and I was trying to scale out of my business because I realized like it's crazy. You can make this much money spending a couple hours a day. And I actually started to devalue the business I built for myself, which was my main source of cash flow. And I was scaling out of that, trying to scale into trading, and then trading, I was trying to make a living off that. And that's one thing too, like if you guys are new to the journey, I would not recommend trying to make a living off from trading. I wouldn't even think of trading as a thing of making money. I would see it more as like a practice of self-mastery that has the consequence of money with it. But along the way, as you're doing that, like you want to build cash flow. And part of that is, that's what's so cool about the academy, like build the business. Like this business model is unreal. I've studied a lot of entrepreneurship. I've been in multiple different types of businesses, and out of every single business I've been a part of or in, like I'm Academy, even though I haven't really done too much building myself, it's the most bullish business I've seen. Like with the value it provides, the business structure, and the just scalability. And the thing is, it's crazy. Like I have a strength and conditioning business. It requires a ton of work. I have to write all the programs, I have to schedule everybody in, take all the payments, do all the legal, all that crap. I'm a cat. Everything's done for us. It's ridiculous. And like all we have to do is just share the opportunity, share the knowledge. But anyway, sorry, that's a long introduction story, but that's how I jumped back into trading. And that's kind of where I led to next, which we'll skip ahead a little bit. I realized I should not be using my own money, and I should use other people's money. And that's when I started the funding process. And It took several times. Like I failed several accounts, and then I finally again like just started following the rules and gamatizing trading, and then that's when I passed that account. But I'll give that back to Kevin because I went kind of long there.
Nah, bro, you're good. You're good, man. The story is everything, bro. I think like that is like super inspirational, man. Because a lot of time with trading, it could be such a lonely like sport, and especially like people who are going through like the journey and just starting the beginning process. Like it can be really easy to give up, man. It can be really easy to just quit. If you don't have like you don't see like from someone else's perspective, the stuff that they've been going through. So I appreciate you, man, for sharing that. And I wanted to ask you, so like seeing like all you losing money, bro, because not a lot of people can eat that, bro. Not a lot of people can handle losing thousands of dollars, bro, like that. Like some people are out after that. Like they take one L, bro, and they're done. Like, yo, I'm never coming back. So like, what was that motivation like that kept you going, bro?
Oh, I don't take losses, like especially like I will not accept a loss. I'll accept lessons. And the thing is, I like when I jumped into everything in 2021, I remember, I don't know if I wrote in my journal or if I like made a post, but I burnt the boats. Like I gave myself no choice but to figure out how to win. And what's crazy is I'm still within the academy. I've been now doing this for 2 years. I'm still not profitable from my overall investments and losses, but I'm extremely persistent. And I see what's crazy about the game of trading is the external will follow the internal, and that's what a lot of people
Mm.
don't see and don't focus on, is that we want to get the money right away. We want to get the external results right away. But the thing is, most of us, we're not who we need to be to get that. And that's where like that process and a journey of self-mastery is like, we have to understand what our belief systems are. Like your results in everything, fitness, in your wealth, in your relationships, all stems from belief systems. These results are a summation of the consequences from actions. Actions are triggered from emotions, which are rooted in thought patterns that are centered in belief systems. And so if we're not getting results we want physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, that's because our belief systems are off. And that's why like trading so cool is it will give you direct feedback of like your flawed belief systems. And until you can question your belief systems and one, like use mentorship, but also two, just do the introspective deep work, and figure out which belief systems are one accurate, but not just accurate, but also serves your purpose, serves what you're trying to do. And so yeah, like
Jeez.
that's kind of one of my favorite things about trading is that it is a journey of self-mastery. And once you do get that internal expansion, the external follows. And when it follows quick. So yeah.
Bro, that is a bar. I think like for traders, that's probably one of the toughest things, man, is getting the internal thing down, bro. That internal game. Cause like a lot of times people they don't want to face themselves, man. They want to face, like their subconscious, habits and just poor habits that they built over their whole entire life. It's really hard to reprogram your mind, right? That's the reason why only 5% of people actually become successful traders and do it. So I think that's 100% worth it. Is just that continuation of like just what is Napoleon Hill says, like success is the progressive ideal realization of a worthy ideal or goal, right? So like if you're constantly, pursuing that ideal goal and just becoming better, 1% better every single day, like eventually you're gonna get there, right? Is it gonna be tomorrow, next week? Dude, who knows, right? But as long as you get at it, like you said, like that persistency, bro, that's key. No one can stop someone with hunger. Like I would rather like I'll put my money on someone with hunger than someone who, is influential or, has certain skill sets or whatever. Like, dude, the hungriest person in the room is the one 100%, like, be the most persistent person to make it. But C's, I don't know if you want to ask the next question, bro.
Bro, I actually want to dive in a little deeper on the mindset aspect. So, it's like kind of bouncing off what you guys are saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't want to work, right? So, but at the same time is, it's like you said, E, in the beginning, that when we're in trading, all we're thinking about is the money, the money, the money. And it's amazing to be persistent, but sometimes people are walking in the wrong direction, right? They just keep going after a 100K account size or 300K account size when they haven't even made 5% consecutively in a few weeks. So where did you start beginning the internal work? Was it like certain Goal Life sessions? Was you just talking to Tim one-on-one? Was like that mentorship, or was it just you kind of coming from a personal development background in fitness, you saying, okay, well, literally everything begins in the brain. The brain is the first thing to give up on that last rep before your body ever is, So I'm curious to dive deep in that aspect.
Yeah. So it's something I've actually been doing for a long time, ever since I was an athlete. Like when I was a soccer player back, like even through high school, I was always trying to figure out, like, why were there days where it's just so easy to get up and do the work, and then other days it's like I'm gonna chill and play video games and sleep instead. And I started to listen to like Eric Thomas back in the day. That's when he first started like really popping off. And that's when I started to really like understand that there's a lot more to getting success and results with mindset. Like mindset is absolutely everything. And so all through my athletic career, that's been something I was focused on for myself, which is what I carried on though to my coaching. That's why for me, I'm so passionate about coaching, doing strength and conditioning with athletes, because a lot of them are driven athletes. Like I only usually work with very driven athletes because that's the people I can mold to the greatest people. They have the drive and hunger. That's everything you need. And the mindset can be molded. Once the mindset's molded, everything typically usually follows. Of course, there's genetics and all that in play as well. But that's always been something that I've been constantly reading about, researching and whatnot. And then when I joined I'm Academy, like everybody was doing it. I was like, holy crap. Like I really didn't know anybody else that really focused on mindset like me. And it's like when I went to one of the events, it's like every single person was reading the books, listening to the audios. Like I never seen anything like that. And so that was really cool. And one of the things that really helped me grow a lot was Mike Navarrete, so Kevin's brother. I literally went through, because I'm obsessive.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm like extremely obsessive with learning and like expanding the mind. I went through every single one of his favorite videos, and then I tapped into the Trade Beyond the Matrix and went through all of those, which really blew my mind. Then I ended up buying that book, Trade Beyond the Matrix. I read that like 6 times through. And between that, reading Laws of Success, and it's not just reading a bunch of books, but it's reading the books that are applicable for the skill sets you want to learn, and like mastering those concepts and making sure you're implementing them, refreshing them, and also continue to read them. Because once you read anything, like real quick with the mindset stuff, like once you read something, you expand your mind, then you experience it in the world. Then when you go back to read that book, you have a whole different mind reading that book that can use that information on a whole nother level. So it's really important to keep on rereading the books that are applicable in the direction you're trying to go with whatever skills you're trying to build. But yeah.
woo.
Yeah,
Let's go, man. Let's go.
ready with the E, bro.
I don't even know. I want to unpackage some of that because, like, you just spent a lot of bars, man. And something that you mentioned, a word, actually, just a specific word. When we were talking about like the Training Beyond the Matrix series, and that book and everything, dude. Like, what was your like? When did you kind of like wake up to the fact that like this is a matrix, that like everything that we're living in like a matrix and simulation? Like, was that something that I know, we're gonna get a little deep here, but like, is that something that kind of inspired you as well to like, dude, like trading is my way out of this like system, like kind of like middle finger to like societal norms kind of, and just like, yo, I'm gonna live life how I want to live it. Did that inspire you at all? Or
Yeah. So like it was 2020, like when everything was going down there, it was like a few months into like all the chaos. Something didn't seem right. And like I never really paid attention to like I really only focused on entrepreneurship, like pursuing greatness, and that was it. And like we're all forced into like watching politics, figure out what's trying to go on, trying to figure out what's going on in the world. And what I do is I try to find the right people to get the right information from, which when it comes to what's going on in the world, you do not want like quote unquote experts. Experts in one area, like doctors, they're groundhogs. So even though they might be brilliant people, they're experts in one specific area. When you want to understand what's going on, you want to either surround yourself with or follow hawks, like people who maybe are not an expert in one specific area, but have a very great understanding of multiple areas and how they work together. And so I started to like listen to like military people, people who do day trading and whatnot, because people who understand the markets for the most part, understand what's going on really well. And that's actually the thing I realized the most, is that people who do really understand the markets understand what's going on really far greater than most other people. And I have a lot of people that have in my network that have just different access to different information, from military to other just very high level business owners within my clientele, and so on. And so, yeah, I saw that we are in a matrix. Then when I dove in more and like realized what the Federal Reserve, IRS, what our currency, what our money really is, it's a trap. And in order to get out of the trap of the matrix, you have to figure out how to, one, like make money leveraging that. And the thing is, it's not getting out of the matrix. I don't really think there's a way to get out of the matrix, but I do think you can leverage the matrix with awareness. Like modern day billionaires are people who in the Industrial Revolution understood how money was transitioning, and they positioned themselves in the right positions. And right now, what I believe is going on, and not really believe, it's really going on, is another revolution where we're having a digital revolution right now. We're having Web3 being adopted by governments, by institutions, by just a lot of major like influential markets, and where the money's at. And so anyways, with that, it's like it's good to, one, know how to leverage these things that are being built, which is why it's so important to be in an academy like I'm Academy, where not only do they have educators who have been trading the markets and studying the markets, and not just the markets, but the technology for years, they're studying it as it's being built. And like what's crazy is when the internet was being built, there was nothing to study the internet besides maybe a book that was written 6 months after, maybe even a year after what was done. What's cool is we can study the new internet with our current internet as it's being built, which gives us a very good opportunity, if we have the right information, to know where to put that money, that cash flow we're building from trading, from hustling, building the academy, or from whatever hustle you are doing, where to put that money to then leverage that, leveraging the awareness of what the matrix is and where the direction is going towards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Leveraging and like using other people's money, just how like the elites, the institutions, smart money is doing. Like you got to follow the money and do that as well. You know, leverage credit, leverage that. Like, man, I know people who are using like PPPs and the COVID relief loans and like all those stimulus checks, and like people came up off that because they position themselves, they use other people's money, and they capitalize, position themselves in front of new trends and things of that nature. But see that, if you got a question.
Yeah, so running right back to what you're saying, how in Industrial Revolution they kind of knew how to leverage money, or even it really goes back to what we do as day traders. Like we don't really create money. Yes, we can get it out of thin air, but we take right from the banks, we take from the financial markets, we take right. And so that's why I love how we trade smart money, is because understanding that cash is cash flow, and if the banks all we do is put in a term analogy of like, if cash is flowing down a river, and then the banks it's just a deposit of land where we can stand waiting for to get wet, right? So we understand that we at the right moment in time we can go ahead and stick our hand out to get wet, grab our cash flow right from the liquid markets. And so I really wanted to dive a little deeper with that, in terms of like, obviously you said, okay, cool, you were chasing money, but you really didn't start to have a turnaround, a profitable turnaround, or even a consistent turnaround until you started following your rules. So how did you go about it? Obviously we can copy and paste our Go Live educators rules, but at some certain point you have to make it a little more personal, right? Either break evens a little quicker, partials a little fatter, whatever, right? So how did you go about collecting your data to then create your rules that you could follow pretty consistently from there?
Yeah, so I took a lot from, again, like what I learned. I think it's important to master, like, and not just a single way, but master a way that works. And I really liked, again, how Mike Navarrete, Kevin's brother, trades. And so I've incorporated a lot of, his strategies and technique in both like how he finds his entries, how he manages his trades, and then how he chooses to take profits. And so like with trading, what I ended up doing is gamifying it for myself, where one, like there's specific rules, so I will only risk a certain percentage on different trades. So on a bigger picture, like clear looking trade, I'll risk a 0.5%. On a trade I might not be as certain about but has a very high risk reward percentage, I'll risk a 0.25%. And just sticking to that consistently over time, like if you study the book Trade Beyond the Matrix, like you can take almost any type of setup consistently with the same risk and you likely would end up profitable. But when you have especially a good edge, like using smart money concepts, knowing how to find where institutional candles are at and where there is liquidity, so potential targets or incentives for them to move price to the market towards, it helps a lot with one, just increasing the probability of your entries and the trade playing out. But yeah, so what I did is one, had my risk percentage rules, which is the 0.5%, 0.25%. Two, my entry rules. So one, I'll only enter at the 835 or 886 because for me those are easy 3-to-1s, and I like to look at 3-to-1 or 3RR trades just because they're easy in and out. And I trade smaller time frames, indices, and I typically trade with Mike on his sessions, but I usually do mark up the charts beforehand just to have an idea of where he's going to be playing that at. And so the first part is just like knowing where your entries and exits are at, how much risk you're trying to or how much, what percentage you're going to be risking. I have this all written down and my head can't think of it straight right now, but this is something I do actually. So I do have it all written down. My brain goes all over the place throughout the day with everything I do. So one thing I do, it might be remedial, but I write down like steps to do throughout the day. So like I have my whole own like trading ritual I do in the morning. So I'll wake up and I'll elevate my state first. So first thing, I'm very spiritual, so I do devotions in the morning. So I spiritually elevate myself. Then after that, physically elevate myself. So I'll go outside and I'll go do some lunges while I also listen to like a motivational podcast, or not really podcast, but speech, to just get my mindset and body elevated to a higher state. So that's the first thing, actually. My first rule is elevate state: spiritual state, physical state, mental state. And specifically with the mental state, I do have a specific visualization routine I go through, just learning from one, my own experience, but also a lot of the other coaches. And it starts off first with past pain. And so I'll listen to one of those like motivational things that kind of brings you towards like a dark place, dark times. And I will think about the dark place and dark times. I'll get frustrated of where I was at, or maybe position I'm currently at or facing. And I'll use kind of like that darker negative energy, and I'll start to, anger or frustration amplifies your vibration, but you just need to know how to control it. And so that's the first thing I do, is I visualize and focus on and remember my past pain. And then I start to visualize and think forward into my future gain. And so I start to see, all right, this is where I was at. This is maybe where I'm at right now. This is where I'm going though. I see this vision over here. I see me making this much money from trading every single month. I see myself taking these withdrawals. I see myself with my strength and conditioning business flowing to a point where I don't even need trading. Trading is just an extra little fun thing I do, and the consequence is money that I can then throw into crypto, which I also don't need, like to try to maintain in a state of abundance. Like don't need, you need to, and for state management too, it's getting to a place mentally where you do not need anything. Like you are already in that state of abundance, which then brings me back to thinking of the future. And then I do a quick switch and start thinking from the future as though I am already there, and I bring myself back into today. All right, if I'm already a 7-figure funded trader and I'm pulling 2 to 3% a week, all right, how am I going to be mentally today? I'll probably be pretty joyful. All right, so I should be joyful now. I'm already there. All right, how am I going to, I start to visualize every single part of my day, starting with the trading. It's one of the first things I do, the New York Open session. And after that, I start training my clients throughout the afternoon. So I visualize myself trading. Then I visualize myself working with my clients and doing everything at a high vibration. I'll visualize myself following my rules, which then gets me to, once I finish my lunges, I will take a shower quick, blah, blah, blah. Then I'll jump into my trading ritual, which I'll look at my rules and I have it all written down, and I visualize myself in the state as though I'm already there. I'm not going to over leverage. I'm not going to impulse trade. I don't need to make money today. If I make money today, awesome. It's coming from that state of, again, like abundance. You don't need it. And even if you do need it, if you want to get the position, if you want to get the money, if you want to get the funded account and get the results and pass these evaluations, you got to trick your minds, which is a higher level factor, to use your imagination to create the perception that you are already there. And if you operate in that state, you will attract those results, because again, like, not just mental expansion, but like vibrational expansion. We're always vibrating. The higher level our frequency is, we attract those things on our frequency. And so, like, that's again where the mindset and mentality comes into place. And so, yeah, that's kind of my ritual and routine. And when I put all that together consistently every single day, so being very intentional, I am able to follow my rules and do it peacefully. And one of the things too is like being extremely aware while trading. One, not trading from emotions, meaning like I'm not trading from anger. I'm not trading from a place of lack. I'm not trading from any negative emotion. Or two, I'm not trading or I'm not trading from euphoria. Maybe I won 3 trades in a row. I'm not going to be a degenerate and then over leverage. Like, I'm not going to trade from that state either. But also too, do not trade for emotion. So don't trade for the feeling of euphoria, to the feeling of winning, the feeling of making money. Like, don't trade from emotions. And when we're able to do that, again, that helps to maintain that higher vibrational state, which then, like, for me, that's everything. Like, I focus mostly on my state management, and then just being aware of my rules, and doing those 2 things have kept me really consistent in being able to get the results I want.
Damn, bro. I love that, bro. I love that. Yo, like,
Bro really tapped in.
bro, Heike, when you talking about, you being a spiritual, like, yo, more into emotions, me, I'm spiritual too. So that really did help me out so much. But I love how you say how you put yourself already in a state of already having, already attaining, right? And then working backwards, because literally that's how you should be attacking anything in life, any goal. It's okay. Well, if I need to, make $1,000 in my business, I need to go ahead and make 3% in my trading, or, et cetera. Well, acknowledge the goal, but then work at it backwards, because that's how you make the goal actually obtainable, right? There's action steps that can be created from that. So that's actually amazing, bro. And it's funny that you're talking about, clarity, what is your emotion going into the markets? Because funny enough, that's how you have stuff written down. I have sticky notes all over my monitor, TV. And it's literally like, what is your clarity, right? Do you understand your emotion entering these markets? Like, what is your plan? What is your exit? What is your environment? So that's fire. Like, because, bro, once you have full control of yourself, you then have full control of your money in these markets, or your emotions in these markets, right? So that's amazing, bro. Like, I'm happy and grateful for this call. Family, if y'all having fun with this call like I am, can do me a drop some 777s in this chat, because, this shit is amazing. E did not come to play today. But with that, bro, you already know.
Crazy.
No, swear. So you already know it's money heist, bro. Feel me? You already you're killing the markets right now. We need that secret sauce, right? That Krabby Patty secret formula, bro. Are you looking at anything in the markets right now? Do you have any, some pairs you could share with the boys?
Possibly. I mean, I was taking a peek at Bitcoin earlier.
If you could share your screen,
Because
bro.
Bitcoin's been moving quite a bit. Am I able to share my screen?
You're all set, bro. Don't you worry.
Oh, let me see. Oh, there we go. And so these were, I didn't actually enter these other trades, but these are what I was looking at earlier today. So one, this sell here. So with institutional money, I don't know if you guys on this call follow a lot of Mike's Navarrete's training style, but right here, there was a nice little distribution, created a lower low from all this, so liquidated. I'm very OCD with my charts. So liquidated these guys right here.
Bro, I'm the same, dude.
I swear, no.
And so price came back up here, probably closed out something, and then it left a huge imbalance and then just collapsed, started to accumulate, which then you can kind of see that wick off pattern form. This is what I saw as a spring. And so I also didn't take this trade over here. But before that even happened, the market started to extend up, came right to where one of my entries would have been. So again, I like to enter at the 886 or 835 because those are typically really easy 3RR trades to get. And yeah, this one ended up going for more than a 1 to 3, but this is where I probably would have taken profits at due to structure. So when I take profits, I do aim for like a 2 or 3 RR, but I use structure to determine how to manage the trade. And usually if I have time, I try to predetermine how I'll manage the trade. Like let's say I saw price came to the zone here. All right, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take like 20% or 30% partial profits, and I want to like visualize and see. Like I want to see the details as clearly as I can. And so that's why I label everything here. And usually too, when I do put these entries in, I even have like, or not the entries, but the markups. I usually put not just why I'm entering here, like the 886, 835, but I'll put the amount of points it is and what my total lot size will be. That way, if it does come to the zone, there's no thinking. I can just boom, put the numbers into the MetaTrader and get that trade played out. And then down here, price ended up coming back towards this area here, which was the last little push down before market, oops, should be blue, before the market extended up, and price wicked in and it came up, extended up towards this last little push up here. So I'm freaking exhausted. I've been up since 4:30 today. So if I'm talking not so
You
clear,
good, bro. You good.
but recently though, this is actually the most recent thing I'm looking at. So I am waiting for a potential buy down here, where on the 1 minute, way over here. So this is the initial push off. Price mitigated this push down here, but then left an imbalance from what I can see from this little push down here. Never really came back to close this candle out here. And so I am looking for, and if I take this trade, this would be one of my lower risk trades because I'm not 100% confident in this, but this is something I do believe we could see a nice reaction from and have a very nice risk reward. There's incentive for, so I look for also incentive, like why not just to close out a candle position, but is there liquidity to capture? There's liquidity here, which price started to take out some of that here. It's consolidating. And then right now, and it looks like it's about to make a big move at some point too, since it's pinching. But it's so cool how like the market's fractal, because on the 15-minute, it's like the exact same thing where market distributed, came up, retested here, close, or not retested, close, mitigated to the candle close up here, and then left an imbalance. And right now I'm waiting for this imbalance to possibly fill and for price to come back to this last little push up buy to sell, which could happen soon. The thing is, it could happen soon. I'm gonna go to bed right after this call, so I'm not putting limits in. I don't trade if I can't manage it. So if I miss the trade, I miss the trade. It would suck, but it is what it is. And so this is something I'm looking at right now. But yeah.
Yo, so I know you had mentioned that you go for like 1 to 2s, 1 to 3s, and then also based off of like the trade setup itself, that kind of determines how much you risk percentage wise for that trade. Like, so do you have like a I know some people do this, they have like an A plus setup, like a B setup or whatever. Do you have that, or is it just kind of by like, I don't know, like just how you're feeling about the setup, or is there like certain setups that you only take?
Yeah. Usually I'll only take setups at like the highs or the lows. So like of the movement. And this is a smaller time frame. So like the larger the time frame, the more risk I'm willing to use for a clear setup. Right here, none of this is super, super clear. One of the ways I do, let me find what it's, I'm not gonna pull up my trade journal now, but one of the things I do have is, or do to track everything is my trade journal. And so I actually use the same trade journal that Mike set up on, forget what that website was, but it's really dope where you can manage all of your trades on there and like keep all of your notes as to like how you manage them and why you entered them. But usually what I look for before entering the market is I want to see that last. So if I'm looking for a sell, I want to see a big push up that liquidates the resistance to the left. If I'm looking for a sell, so looking for that buy to sell candle to be mitigated towards, or for buys, I'm always looking for mitigation to a sell to buy. And I always want to usually see that sell to buy liquidate and not create an equal low. So liquidate and take to pretty much take away incentive for price to come back down there. I like to try to think of like narratives and stories of like why would price go here or there. And when you understand like institutional money, institutions are always trying to create the largest loss for the majority of people. So it's like when you mark something up like this, it's looking at where the liquidity is, where would the most amount of people lose? A lot of people are going to lose. A lot of these people are buying. These guys will lose and be real pissed off if price came back down and just boom, flew up again. Everybody trading here would be super emotional. So that's also how I try to think is like, what would cause the majority to lose, and try to think like the institutions would think, knowing where their positions are at and where the liquidity is at. And that's really what it is. It's knowing where the positions are at with the institutional candle, um, and where the liquidity is at. Like the things I mark up typically are going to be the liquidity capture, the institutional candle. And so I'll usually put boom, so to buy to know where the candle's at, and then this is liquidity being captured. And then this isn't the best of trades, especially in a bigger picture, because then too, I do typically look for a higher high being formed here to confirm not just a break of structure, but a change of structure. So a change into a trending market. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love it, bro. I love it. Now I know that it is getting a little late, and we are getting to like towards the end of the call. I do want to ask you like one last question though, bro. Like, before we hop off, like, is there any, any advice that you wish you knew when you first, like, now with knowing what you know now, like, if you can go back in time and like tell your, all the, like your younger version, I guess, like with every knowledge that you have today, like, what would you say, like, what kind of advice would you give that person?
Um, there's a lot, but
Yeah, so
honestly, it's just really be persistent. And that's like in anything. If there's anything you want in life, whether it's trading, making money, having a body, being a great athlete, you just have to be persistent, and you have to be willing to endure the cost of sacrifice, the costs of time spent, money spent, the cost of emotions, and know that like the harder the pool, like in any market, like what's so cool about the markets is it's really reflection of how life can be as well, where the harder the pullback, the bigger the pullback, the larger the extension usually. And so like if you are going through tough times, and you probably will be if you're in this journey of trading, like it's knowing that the tough times are supposed to be there. One, so you can appreciate the good times, but two, if it forms you, if you respond in the correct way into who you need to be to win. And really that's what it is. Be persistent and know that you are going to go through hard times. You can minimize that by leveraging mentorship, which is key. Like mentorship is you essentially condensing time, concentrating time. So like whatever Mike had to go through, he was able to keep me and a lot of other people from going through. And whatever I'm going through, when I bring people onto my team, or if I help someone else, regardless of them being on my team or not, like I want them to be able to learn from all my mistakes, so they don't have to suffer what I've suffered through. I think that's important too, is like the more you can suffer, the more stewardship you'll be able to have, the more responsibility you'll be able to have. And if you can have more responsibility, you will be granted more stewardship. So do be willing to like go through the hard times. So that's what it is. Like go through the hard times and be persistent.
Let's go, man. No pain, no gain, man. Turn that pain into champagne, bro. Like for real, for real. I like that. So, yo, man, I appreciate you. Of course, man. Thank you for taking time out of your day. We'll look forward to having you on again in the future, bro, on Money Heist. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop your Instagram, guys. So make sure tap in with my boy. He be dropping some valuable motivational content on the gram. So tap in with him. And C's, bro, if you got any closing thoughts, closing words, bro, go ahead and close us out, bro.
Bro, yo, Coach E, from the bottom of my heart, I'm gonna tell you as a student to the game and as a host, one of the hosts of this calls, bro, thank you for tonight's call. Because above all else, if no one else got any value, selfishly, I'm gonna tell you, I got so much value from this, bro. That truly, bro, I cannot wait. Just keep learning with you, grinding with you, looking up to you as a student mentor kind of perspective, and really just, being just so happy and grateful I get to call you my brother in this space. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for tonight's call. Kev, appreciate you. Another banger. Yo, Kev, I love doing this with you. Can't wait for next week. Family, and if you had fun on tonight's call, definitely be sure to reach out to Coach E on Instagram. Show him some love, show him some gratitude. But with that, it's going to be 12:01 Eastern Standard Time. Like Coach E said, we've been up grinding since the early morning. We need to get to bed and do it all again tomorrow. So, with all that being said, family, stay patient, stay disciplined, and the gains will come. Yo, have a good night, everybody.
Guys.